Welcome back to Phasmophobia. If you guys could like, comment, and or subscribe, I'd appreciate it, because anything you can do for the channel helps me put more back into the channel for you. That being said, today our daily tasks we're going to try to complete along the way are discover the ghost types, reach your sanity, survive with only the starter items, I missed that one by a day, and find the bone 3 times. Damn, that's kind of a lot for only $100. But anyway, what are we gonna do today? I feel like maybe just doing a normal game on Willow Street. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Alrighty, so we got everything here in the van with us. I should actually make sure that this is recording. Done that in the past, don't want to do that again. We're just playing this unprofessional, and it's gonna be more or less a tutorial of what to do, what's going through my head while I'm doing things, that kind of stuff. It's not like an ultimate beginner tutorial. That is actually part of the game. I would recommend checking that out if you haven't already, or if you don't have the game yet. I'd actually recommend just buying it. It's still in pre-release, which means that when they do release it, they're going to up the price. So get it as soon as you can, honestly. Starting out, I'm going to go with thermal, ultraviolet, and video cam, so we could try to hunt down that ghost room as soon as possible, and maybe even get an evidence right away. Looks like we got windy for the weather. I guess, yeah, I should go through my thought process on that. The thermometer helps you identify the ghost room as long as it's not absolutely freezing, aka snowing outside. You could use the thermometer inside the house, so let's say I turn it on in here. Oh, I can actually take the temperature inside the truck. It's 10 degrees Celsius. Doesn't matter which, whether you're in Celsius or Fahrenheit, as long as you know which one's freezing in either. So it's 10 degrees Celsius, so if I were to find the ghost room after the front door's been open for a couple minutes, it might be 7, even 6 degrees Celsius. That's going to be the ghost room. It's going to be whichever room is the coldest. Unless you have twins, but that's for another day. I'm taking a video camera because as soon as you get in the house and you turn it on the night vision, as soon as you open the door, I believe, there's no cooldown, the ghost will immediately have ghost orbs if that is going to be one of the evidences, of which there are 3. Unless you're on Nightmare, then there's only 2, and if you're on Insanity, there's only 1. And if you're in one of those public lobbies that like to accelerate your levels, then usually you're no Sanity, no evidence. But that's not really beginner talk, so you don't gotta worry about that quite yet. That being said, so I go for the thermometer. I actually pick up the one I haven't talked about yet, which is the glow stick, because if a ghost has ultraviolet as the evidence, if it touches a door or a light switch while I'm in the house right off the bat, I can get that evidence immediately. That evidence is a given unless it's an obake, in which case it has, I think, a 20 or 25% chance of not leaving that evidence. And in that case, if you have a ghost that sometimes leaves ultraviolet and other times doesn't, then that's how you know you have an obake. There's a lot of neat little tricks like that you can do for a lot of the ghosts. You want to memorize them all, you can really surprise whoever you're playing with. I'm not going to go that far anytime soon, but yeah, it's pretty fun. The first thing I pretty much do when I come in here is scout out hiding spaces in the garage. We have one. Normally there's one over in that corner if you're looking at the video camera screen. This one right here is a hiding space. You could come around here and crouch and you're hidden. Oh, I thought that was a ghost orb. This is the reflection on the quarter panel. This is also a hiding space. If you come around here, you're hidden, and I'd also recommend crouching just for funsies and, you know, getting in the spirit of the game. And I'm looking around for ghost orbs just to make sure that we don't have that. That is a hiding space right here where you got these stacked totes. You come around here, get over here, and get right up into this corner. Technically, these are not guaranteed hiding spots. None of them really are. The ghost could still just wander over there, see you, and you're done for. Lockers aren't even guaranteed hiding spots because the ghost likes to kind of just walk by and open them on occasion. There are, I don't remember the number of cursed possessions, but there are several of them. This is the monkey paw location. I don't believe there are different spawn locations for given cursed possessions. Like, that is always the monkey's paw location on this map. Over here, inside of this closet, wardrobe, whatever you want to call it, right here is where the voodoo doll would be. Back there in the garage was both the mirror and the Ouija board location, so things to keep in mind. Over here, this chair could be moved over here, and that's technically a hiding space. And realistically, if you needed to and you had no other options, basically limiting your line of sight from the ghost is a hiding space. So if you come over here, this is technically a hiding space as long as the ghost doesn't come, you know, within the line of sight of this area. Things to keep note of. So yeah, that's the upstairs on this map. So far I haven't heard anything like items being thrown, door touches, light switches being turned on, and the breaker is still currently off. Breaker has a set spawn locations on any map. In this one, it is up there in the garage where I mentioned it before, and down here in the basement. Obviously the basement variant sucks a lot. What you just saw there, which looked like my character vaping, is actually cold breath. That usually signifies that you're in a room colder than average. So let's go ahead and take the thermal temperature. We know the outside is 10 degrees. It is 2 down here, which is extremely cold. Doesn't naturally get below, I don't know the exact number, but I don't think I've ever seen it get below like 5 naturally. Maybe even 10, honestly. It depends on the cold weather. I've not spotted ghost orbs even once. I'm going to go ahead and set the photo cam down, or video cam down. I haven't seen anything around, so I don't think it's interacted with any doors or light switches. As soon as I turned on the breaker, it would have, oh, it touched the breaker's door panel. There would be ultraviolet on here if the ultraviolet was in evidence. There is no ghost orbs and no ultraviolet, and we're not on Nightmare or Insanity or Zero Evidence, so we can go ahead and actually mark down that it is not ultraviolet by click once to say it is, click twice to say it's not. It's not ultraviolet, it's not ghost orbs. That narrows our ghost down quite a bit without actually giving us the evidence of what it is. That's a lot to wrap your head around. I know it can seem intimidating, but it's not as bad as it seems. Honestly, by just doing that, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ghosts out of 24, I believe. But you can see that by going to the ghost panel. Yep, 24. There's other factors in here. The ghost has not been a very active ghost, which could indicate shade right off the bat. Wraith likes to teleport to your location, even through floors, but it will always roam. Well, not always, but it usually roams back to the ghost room. You can find that out by putting salt between you and the ghost room and seeing if the ghost comes to you and then goes away. And if it walks through the salt, like if you have a motion sensor set up, you can see where the ghost is going. If it walks over the salt, doesn't leave a footprint, that's a wraith. Other ghosts, Onis, are fairly active, about as active as a Thay, but constantly. They really like the character being right next to them, and they'll do spam ghost events, except for an airball ghost event. If we get one of those, I'll try to point it out. The Deogen doesn't really do a whole lot. I've never noticed it anyway. The Moroi, its characteristic along with the Deogen is only really while it's hunting. The twins, same thing. It's mainly while it's hunting, but the twins do have more activity because essentially there are 2 ghosts. Both ghosts can hunt, and you can consider them the same ghost for the most part. While they're hunting, one ghost is slow, the other ghost is fast, and yeah, that's pretty much it. They're not like Usain Bolt fast, but you can tell the difference as long as you keep an ear out for them. All this being said, I guess we just need to get down there and get more evidence in there. So, by marking off these evidences, if any ghost had ultraviolet, that ghost is now grayed out. That's why you don't want to do this on Nightmare or Insanity, because for those game modes, they essentially forcibly hide an evidence in the game's code. So, let's say Moroi is forced spirit box. It has a special interaction with the spirit box. You can get cursed. That's a whole separate thing. We might talk about it. We might not. Depends if we have a Moroi in this game. But trying to remember where my train of thought was going. I think it just got derailed. So Moroi is guaranteed to have spirit box unless you're on 0 evidence gameplay, which is a custom difficulty. So in this one, we have all 3 evidences. Another ghost that has a forced evidence is actually the Obake. It is forced to have ultraviolet because it can have a 6-fingered handprint, which makes it worthwhile to check if a ghost is frequently touching doors. Make sure it's not an Obake. It's not that Obakes like to touch doors, but if it's constantly updating the handprint on the door, keep an eye out for the 6-fingered one. Mimic is forced ghost orbs. However, if I were to do this and say ghost orbs is an evidence that I've spotted, Mimic gets crossed out. Mimic's true evidence is ultraviolet, spirit box, and freezing temperature, and they have an additional evidence, which is ghost orb. So if you get one evidence more than the game mode you're playing, so professional and below is 3 evidence, nightmares 2, insanity 1, and 0 evidence, you'll actually still get ghost orbs, which makes those playthroughs extremely easy. That's how you know you got a mimic, is when you have 1 extra evidence than you're supposed to. Or if you have ghost orbs and a handful of other pieces of evidence and it doesn't make sense what your ghost is, then that's also another indicator you've got a mimic. In this case, I don't think we have enough information right now to say what ghost we have. We were basically like 80-ish% sanity, 85% sanity when we were down in that basement. So we don't have a whole lot to go off of. If we do, even though I've marked it off already, actually no, Obake has ghost orbs, so this will not be an Obake. But if I did mark off ultraviolet and then later somebody discovered that there was ultraviolet evidence, we could go back and say that's definitely an Obake, because it's the only ghost, technically, that can have that ability. It's always going to be a technicality with any ghost, because the mimic can mimic the abilities and takes of all the other ghosts, but it cannot mimic evidence. The evidence for a mimic will always be ultraviolet, freezing temps, and spirit box, and technically ghost orbs. So, all that being said, I know this is going to be a lovely info dump, but it's a YouTube video, so you can pause, rewind, rewatch, share, and all kinds of fun stuff. I'm going to take down 3 more evidence pieces. The last one we're going to have to get to is going to be the dots projector. You also have objectives over here. They're technically optional, but if you want perfect investigation bonus, which I highly recommend, especially on the higher difficulties, which also means higher rewards, usually they're pretty easy, like detect something with EMF, get a motion sensor, or get an average sanity below 25%. Or we might get sanity below 25. That's not exactly guaranteed, depending on how this ghost plays things out. But as still the activity goes, I am feeling like this is a shade, and I'm going to start trading it like it's a shade. Oh, it turned off the breaker. That dick. There's actually one ghost who cannot turn off the breaker. You can still overload the breaker manually, but the Jinn is unable to turn off the breaker. I believe the Hantu likes to turn off the breaker because its ability is, or the Hantu's ability is that it is faster in colder rooms. So if you have one room that's 20 degrees and the next room, which is likely going to be the ghost room, is like freezing temps, which is evidence of the Hantu, the ghost will be like, duh, 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 and then as soon as it gets in that room that's freezing temps, duh, 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 duh. Gotta kind of be careful about that one, because that could also just be a... What's that ghost? Raiju. Just any powered on electronics in there. All the ghosts have their own quirks. It takes a little bit to learn through them, not a whole lot. I watched another YouTuber, InSim, a lot before I even bought the game. Ooh, I actually want to check that. Not a double door touch for sure, but he definitely touched that a couple times. Very active now that I'm down here. As long as this is still the ghost room, that might dissuade my decision. That just might be a shade. But I watched him for a while before I... Freezing temps is our first evidence. That narrows our ghost down quite a bit. It's decently active now, so it could be Oni or twins. So for this... Alright, let me finish my train of thought before I get distracted. I watched him for quite a bit before I even bought this game, so I came into this game decently knowledgeable. I don't even know how... Jesus, that's very active. Are you here? Are you close? Are you friendly? Where are you? Are you here? Spirit box, guaranteed. Well, not guaranteed, but... So it's twins or Moroi, and this ghost is acting fairly... Not aggressive, but... active. It's acting active, if that's even a thing. So... Spirit box and freezing temps, and Moroi is guaranteed spirit box. What do we have left? We have 3 pieces of evidence left and only 2 ghosts, so now we can come in here and cross one out. So if I say the evidence is ghost writing, it'll be a Moroi. If I say it is EMF 5, it'll be the twins. That means we do not need to worry about the dots projector. So I don't need to run back up to the truck and get that. Let's bring this over here. The ghost was most active over here a minute ago. I had a writing book. Bring that over here as well. I don't know if it's moving into this room or not. The twins are a bit peculiar. There is, like I said before, 2 ghosts that can be separated between floors. There's the main ghost, which is the main ghost room, which will have the freezing temperatures, which is the evidence of twins. And there's the other ghost, which will be a colder room, but it might not necessarily get the freezing temperatures in my experience. I might have needed to wait longer. I've never really given it a whole lot of thought, so it's just something to be mindful of, more or less. It was decently active for a little bit and then it stopped. There's not really a good reason for that. That's not a trait of either of these two. The twins will be consistently active. The Moroi will just be the Moroi. Which for the most part, it acts like a standard ghost. During a hunt, it gets smudged for 50% longer than other ghosts. So you gotta kind of learn that one by feel and hearing. The Moroi also gets faster the lower your sanity is. Starting at like 40%, it'll hunt like a spirit. 30%, it hunts a bit faster. All the way down to 0%, it's basically hunting like a Fae almost. Maybe a Fae. It's about the fastest ghost I can think of that's not a Diogen or Revenant. Yeah, okay, well, that dude just straight up stopped. Dick. When you do get a spirit box response from a Moroi, which I guess we are talking about this now, you get cursed, and the curse remains until you exit the house and maybe take sanity medication. I've not gotten actual clear evidence or information on that yet. So as long as I'm in the house after having gotten that spirit box response, it's a Moroi, so I am currently cursed. Then actually I should kind of be careful about that. Because my sanity, even though I'm in direct light right now, my sanity is actively draining. And it's turning off lights, so it's direct. That is an airball. Let's get over here, maybe it'll be a bit clearer. That is what they call the airball ghost event. When it touches you, it does a hey kind of sound effect. I wonder, honestly, how well that came across on the microphone. When you get to that, that means the ghost cannot be an Oni. I think they talk about that in the ghost profile a little bit. Oni. Weakness. Oni disappear less often while hunting their prey. Basically, they don't like to be a partial ghost or anything like that. Onis love to scare their victims as much as possible before attacking. They are often seen in their physical form, guarding their place of death. Physical form, so actual ghost models. They could be the shadow ghost model, but they will never be the airball. So, those don't actually mean anything. I don't know what that is. Our sanity is low enough for that Moroi to hunt. I think it's below like 50 or 60. I'm not exact on those, but I know the speed differential starts at about 40%, so we don't really want to go back in there. And I don't think I'm audibly going to be able to convey the difference in hunting speed, but we do still want a motion sensor. I don't really care to like get perfect investigation on this, so we will just go down there with some stuff. There's no benefit, but there's also no downside kind of a thing. So, and the ghost isn't going to be terribly quick, so let's hop back in there and get it hunt. We do have the monkey paw at our disposal that is useful for many things, including dropping your sanity, forcing basically the ghost to hunt. You can ask for evidence, in which case you will be blinded and deafened, and that's going to be permanent throughout the rest of the contract that you're playing through. I'm actually going to go ahead and kill this light. And that kind of sucks, but basically you do that as a last resort, and if you're lucky with it, I think there's a trick where you can do it while you're walking out. It's hunting. So I want to get it to come over here, and we're going to try to listen to it. So for this, I'm going to leave this door open and my headlight on, so that way when the ghost comes upstairs, I can attract it. Alright, I'm on push to talk, so I can't talk. So you notice, if you count it there, and you can replay the video and count it again, the ghost was stunned for 7.5 seconds. Almost solid 8 seconds, honestly. You could tell because the tier 2 smudge stick slows the ghost down, so it's easy to tell when the ghost starts speeding back up. Whew. We'll talk about that here in a second, but just memorize how that looks. You might need to come back here on the video. So the tier 2 smudge stick, which is the one I'm using now, slows the ghost down, so you can tell when the ghost starts speeding back up when the smudge has worn off. The tier 3 smudge stick forces the ghost to stay in place wherever you smudged it, so you can also tell when the ghost starts moving again, which is much easier to decide when the smudge stick is worn off. So that's easy to count through, so that is definitely a Moroi. It looks a little bit here. If we had gotten EMF 5, would have signaled to me that this might be the twins, because that is what is partially considered a twin interaction curve, where rather than one solid slope like that is, it goes up and then angles again immediately. But it also, other ghosts can, pun intended, mimic that. not meaning they're a mimic, but just, you know, the thing that they do. They can seem to mimic that, and that can easily throw off even, I mean, I've fallen for it a few times, because it's like, oh wait, that's this twin interaction curve. I'm gonna go now and get some free easy money, and it was not twin interaction. So, we have definitive proof on here, as well as from the hunt directly, that that is a Moroi. Let's have the final say here. That is a Moroi, and that's $1,000 even. If I had gotten that last objective, collected the bone, and taken 10 3-star ghost photos instead of the normal investigation bonus of 150, I think it would have been 250, if I remember correctly. I never actually paid too much attention to it, but that number does get multiplied by your rewards / difficulty multiplier. So if I'm playing on insanity at 6 times rewards, I think that's insanity, right? Yeah, professionals 3, nightmares 4, insanity is 6, and my customs are insane, literally. Actually insane instead of insanity insane. But that number actually gets multiplied by those, and you start getting some crazy money. So that's my thought process. That's how I go about playing this game. It's different for every ghost, because you get a piece of evidence or two, or you spend maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes in a given map with a ghost, and you start learning how they're behaving, and that's how you start deciding what path you want to go. Do I want to start attacking the ghost, assaulting it with questions, saying its names on open mic? Do I want to leave the ghost be a little bit, wait around, see if it's going to give me some evidence, like writing in the writing book, which is what we kind of waited for down there, or giving us EMF, and then also just sitting there and observing the ghost's behavior. This ghost was active, and then stopped being active, and then started being active again. That's not necessarily twin behavior, but when it was active, it was doing... Yeah, got the hiccups. It was doing a lot of activity when it was active. That's what made me think twins or Oni, they could even do that kind of stuff. Even poltergeist can. This is basically, what's that game with all the people you can... Guess Who? That's what it is. I've never actually played it before, so it's hard to remember. But you have all the people flipped up, and you have to ask the other person, like, a general thing, and then you can go and flip it down, like, I think it's 5 people if you ask the most general of questions. But, yeah, it's basically Guess Who, but with a ghost, and in order to ask it a question, you got to go and sacrifice literal sanity to do so. Which honestly just makes this game excessively fun. Like, I'm going to close out of it here before I go ahead and finish up the video.
Welcome back.
You guys are probably going to end up seeing my desktop here in a second if I can figure out how. Nope, that's Minecraft. Here's this window capture, display capture. Device not connected. Hey, there you go. I have 238.6 hours in this game, and I'm still not bored of it. It's still a pretty fun game. I'm still regularly enjoying the game. So, I'm not paid, of course, by anybody. It'd be awesome to get a second income. I'm just doing this for fun and to force myself to play video games again because I haven't played them in years. Anyway, I do recommend picking up the game. It is fun. It's decent. It's technically still in beta. I have this. Why don't I just pull it up? Store page. We don't need to play that. We'll let you guys go to this page and look at it. Well, they played 5 hours in 2 weeks. Wow. Okay. What are we looking for in here? Oh yeah, early access game. So there hasn't been a full release on the game quite yet. It is decently fun. I recommend picking it up. It does support VR if you're into that. I'm not, but VR is crossplay with PC players. I think they're starting to get it out on consoles as well, and if you wanted to play on PC with your Xbox or PlayStation controller, you can. I don't know why I'm doing a full advert for the game, but I honestly enjoy it that much. I used to be bigger in the Call of Duty when Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 were around, but that was a long while ago, and I posted some videos. Oh, wait, that's Left 4 Dead. Where's Black Ops? Oh no, I need to update Gary's mod. There's Black Ops. I posted some videos on that, but it didn't seem to be too popular, so probably, maybe not going to do that again. Maybe we'll see. Especially if you guys leave some likes, comments, and subscribes about it, then I might. That, or if you ever have any other games you want to recommend, I'll just go ahead and start picking those up regularly. All that being said, I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.